Okay, we are live now. I'm making you host, and you can make me the co-host for the session.
Okay. Right, you're a co-host.
Okay, thank you. Enjoy your session.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Hello, hello. Hello to Carl. Can you hear me, Carl?
Yes, yes.
Good, okay.
That was that momentarily, that 2 seconds there that I wasn't clued in.
Okay, what part of the world are you from?
Off just near Toronto. We're kind of in the greater Toronto area. It's called Richmond Hill. So
Okay.
Canada on the other side of the border and near just part of Toronto.
Okay.
Toronto. Part of greater Toronto.
Okay. So you'd understand when I said that currently here we are 6 degrees centigrade. Okay.
Yeah, but where are you?
I'm on Perth, Western Australia.
My God, we hit 23 today, but we had a day the other day with 8. We had 8.
Okay.
Hi, friend Anita.
Hi there.
Hi there. Okay, Anita and Carolyn and Carl, welcome. Where are you from, Anita?
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
You warm. Okay, that's fine. Carolyn, where are you from?
Carolyn. Okay. Anita and I both used to be in Ohio, and I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, June.
Hi, Michael.
Hello, Nancy. Nice to see you.
Same here.
You all have your groupies.
Yes. Yeah. So, June, what part of the world are you from?
New York City for the first time is using ranked choice voting.
You got
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Oh, okay. That's great. Okay. Yep. And we've got Pat. Pat, what part of the world are you from?
From Paulsbo, Washington.
Okay. So other than Carl, you're all in North America, are you? What about Robin? Robin, can you hear me? Okay, not yet. Okay, not yet. All right. There's still some people coming in, and we've there were a few more booked, but we'll see. So today is going to be an interesting day because, as you know, you've joined to go out of space and then come in to Earth from Google Earth and to see what it's all about. Now, I know there are a lot of people that don't know who I am, as Carl didn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share a screen that's going to tell us a little bit more about but to start off, before I introduce myself, do any of you have any prior knowledge about Google Earth and searching virtually at any location? You can do, you can just shake your head or say no or yes. Okay, all right. So what are we going to do? I'll go to we got to just move up to the my information, introducing myself. As you can see on the screen, that is my name. And as I mentioned a moment ago, I'm from Perth, Western Australia. And it is cold here at the moment. We've got winter, and winter brings rain in our area, like a Mediterranean type climate. And it's cold. Okay, so we 6 degrees now, which I guess must be somewhere around 42 degrees Fahrenheit. And so you can see I'm warmly dressed for the occasion, whereas you are all casually dressed for a flight around the globe. My background is is business, and I'm an author and a researcher, blogger. I mentor business owners, or used to mentor business owners. I no longer do now that I'm with Get Set Up. And I enjoy gardening, and I enjoy growing microgreens. I give a class on microgreens as well. But my love now is being where I am right at this moment, in class, interacting with you. And I'm hoping to do that for another 30 years. And I'm over 70 already. So that's where we are. What I'm going to do now, the agenda, you see, we will cover what's on the agenda, but we'll cover questions as well, and I'll do a lot more than what is on the agenda, depending on the interaction from you and questions from yourself. So also we're using Zoom, and I'm sharing from Zoom. If the share disappears, please just let me know. If I'm talking about something on the screen that is not there, just interrupt me and tell me so. So Google Earth comes in various packages. I'm going to be using the desktop, and if you're watching on a much smaller device, some of the things I show you will not be easily available. But if you're watching on a laptop or something larger, you should see everything we talk about. But there are options. You can get an open source of Google, which I can't find a need for that, but you may come across it. And but also there are you can get an app that you can download to your smartphone as well. And again, that will show you things a little bit different to what we're going to be doing on a desktop, but the functionality is there. And you can also download a Google Earth onto your laptop or on your desktop. And you can also download the Pro version, which is also free, but it's really for the professional who wants to measure how tall this mountain is and what the elevation is here and things like that. And it comes in very handy for that. But for us, we're going to just get the basics and get to moving around, and we'll move from there. All right. So you go to, first and foremost, to google.com/Earth, or you can just Google Earth. Whichever way you Google it, you'll come to the right place. You're looking for Google Earth, and you will come up with a screen similar to this, and you can explore, get some information. But what we want to do in the class now, we want to launch Google. You see, there are actually two places. One is on the bottom left hand that you can see to launch Google Earth. So we click on launch Google Earth, and now it's in the process of launching Google Earth. Okay, and we land up with a picture, a portion of planet Earth, looking clearly at the United States and going down. Now, what I did for this class is I wanted to show you that you can plan ahead for a holiday and go and have a look at the places that you want to plan ahead for. Okay, so if you want to go to a specific spot on Earth, you can go there and you can look around. You can decide whether that's where you want to go and spend the holiday and so on. But Google Earth is not always up to date. Okay, so be aware of that. It's a good place to go and plan your holiday and even walk the streets of a particular city that you want to go to. Okay, but when it comes to being there, then you swap over to Google Maps. Google Maps is always 100% up to date and ready to take you to this location, that location, once you've arrived at your city. And we'll touch on Google Maps as well, just to show you. But remember that when you arrive, it's Google Maps that you want. Before you arrive, while you're still planning your holiday, then it's Google Earth that you want. Now, I've done some planning prior to this lesson. I'm going to pretend that we want to go on holiday to the southern tip of Africa, to a town called Cape Town. Okay, and we're going to plan what we're going to do around there. Now, you can do this with any city. Okay, I'll show you the skills, and we'll move around. So I have pre-planned it so that we don't waste too much time and we get a lot done between all of us. And then towards the end of the class, if you want to go to a particular address, like your own home address or your ancestral home or something like that, then we can put that in, and I'll show you how to work with that. And so I want to just walk you down. On the left-hand side of my screen, you will see the magnifying glass, which is really great for searching, and that's where you would put in any address on Earth and it will take you there. And I'm going to show you that because I just want to move down and just explain. Then you've got a Voyager. This is where Google takes you on a voyage, and lots of options of just going on a voyage, going on a tour. Okay, you just press that, you sit back and you select which tour you want, and then Google will take you. So that's the what does it look like? It's like a wheel with spokes coming out of it, the icon, and you hold your cursor over it, it says Voyager. And then the square is basically, I guess, Google having a bit of fun. It's called I'm Feeling Lucky. And what you would do is you click that and it'll just take you to some spot on Earth, okay? Probably where you've never been or known or heard about. And so it's not, yeah, I seldom use it because I want to go to a place. I want to look, I want to explore. So I want to go specific. I don't want to feel lucky and land up in the middle of nowhere. Then underneath that is what you're going to want in order to set out a project for yourself. A project is where you are now exploring a location. This, you're going to France, or you're going to Germany or Italy, or as we're going to do going to Cape Town, and you want to create a project for yourself. And I'll show you how to do that, because creating a project is what it's all about. Okay, go and have a look at where you either would love to go on a holiday at some stage in the future, or you're going to go on holiday, or you're planning where in the world you want to go on holiday. The Google Earth is absolutely ideal for that. And then underneath that project icon, there is another icon. It looks like two books on top of each other, a square. Then that's the maps, okay, the Google Maps that you can use here. But it's better to work with the actual app itself. Look for Google Apps on your desktop and find it. And then underneath that, and the last icon on my screen on this desktop, you can see here, it looks like a ruler with some lines on it, and that's exactly what it is. So if you want to measure the distance between, let's say, this town and that town, or this location and that location, you would press that and use that, and you can find out the distance between those locations that you want. But we'll touch on. I just wanted to introduce all that to you. So I'm going to go.
Sorry.
Sure.
Can those icons be increased in size?
Not on my laptop, no. Not my. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay. But as I go through them, just write down, if you want to write down the word. Okay, like this one I'm holding over now, it's called project. So the word project comes up, and so just keep that in mind. Rather write the word project down, and then if you want to make a copy, you can also ask for a recording of this class as well, and go over it again, and pick up maybe on your device, make it very large. Okay. So I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry I can't make it larger. All right. So what I'm going to start with, in order to show you how to use some of the functionality of Google Earth, I'm going to click on projects, and out moves the project that I have created for this class. And I've called that. You give your title, you give your project, and I'll show you how to start a project. You give your project a name. Okay, I've called it Touring Cape Town, South Africa. Okay, and you can see I did it 12 hours ago. That's how long ago it was. Okay, and so you click on that, and now look at the Earth is now taking you to southern tip of Africa. Okay. Now anything you search for, we've searched for that now, it's brought us here. Anything you search for, it will take you to the location. Okay, and it's quite high up, so you get a layout of what is termed the tip of Africa. And it's not quite the tip that this tip is right just going out of the picture lower down. So the first functionality that I want to teach you, if you want to just have a look at the tip, okay, you've got a mouse, and what you do is you can just roll the mouse back, and it takes it further away, further up, and now you can see what we couldn't see. It's not the actual tip of Africa, but often old sailors in the old days used to think it was. Okay, and so you'll see that this bay here is called False Bay, and it's for that reason, is that they thought they had turned the tip of Africa, and they hadn't. They landed up in False Bay. So the first functionality is using the wheel on your mouse. Okay? So you can go up and down and go further out, and you can actually see that there is the tip of Africa by going further out, rolling the wheel back on your mouse. Okay, so just by rolling backwards and forwards, you can see Southern Africa and its neighbors already. Now, if you hold your left click down on your mouse, you'll see it changes to a hand, and you can now move left and right by holding it down. You hold it down. So you can go up and you can go down. Okay, so those are your basic functions. You can the wheel and the left click move around, and by left clicking we can also go any direction we want. Okay. And that's going to be your main function as we move forward. But we were down here, and now move it. And we were looking into the Cape Town area. Okay, so now you'll see these yellow blots are my project, and they'll be your project, whichever city you are going to go and explore after this class. Okay, so I've said that we're going to go and visit each one of these locations, and each one's got a name now. You can see Constantia, High Constantia Wine, Kirstenbosch Gardens, the 12 Apostles, Lion's Head, Table Mountain, and so forth. Okay, that we want to visit. And we also want to visit Robben Island. So what we can do now, we can click on the project that I've created, or you can type into the search, you'll get the same result. And this is like just pre-researched. I've clicked on Cape Town City Center. And now Google Earth brings us to Cape Town City Center and does a 360 tour up at the air, like an aeroplane flying over the city. And at any point, you can actually click and stop the moving around. You can also click on the left button and move the picture. There you'll see part of the main harbor and the foreshore. And but Cape Town, then you move. I'm pulling it down with holding my left key down, and you can see Lion's Head, which is it depends where you look at it from, but it's to the north of Table Mountain, and there is Table Mountain. Okay, an aerial view of Table Mountain. Okay, but before we go and look at Table Mountain, we perhaps want to look at the waterfront. So we search for the V&A waterfront, which is Cape Town's favorite tourist location. And as soon as we search for it, it takes us there and it circles around. We do a flyover of the waterfront. Okay. All right, so I click it and it stops. So up to this point, let me just stop sharing and just see if there are any questions that I'm not losing any of you anywhere. You all okay? Yes, June. I can't hear you. Put your mic on. There we are.
You had to research and find the names of those places, right? And fill them in.
Yeah, I searched for them in that magnifying glass. Yes.
No, like they're listed there under your project.
Yes. Yeah, I've created a project, and that's what I want you to do. I want you to go and visit and create a project by searching first in the search bar.
Okay, so you didn't know the names of those things ahead of time,
Well,
like the waterfront, or you hadn't listed those until you looked.
All right, I did know about them. Okay, I was aware. Okay, but that wasn't the reason. You would go. Let's say go to Paris. Okay, you would search Paris, and it'll take you to Paris, and then Google Earth gives you ideas about touring Paris.
Yeah, that's what I wondered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, any other questions? Yes, Carolyn.
I'm gonna have to go. I can't see anything. Thank you. I'll try something else. Thank you.
All right. No, that's fine. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Let's share again. And okay, we were at the Cape Town waterfront, and now there are things that you can, additional functionality that that you can do. And let me just move my pictures away. And you'll see every time that you search for something, a picture comes up on the right-hand top corner. Now there's a picture of the V&A waterfront. Okay. Now, the next stage is if you were creating a project, here at the bottom left-hand side of that picture is add a project. You would then click on add to project, and it could be a new project that you're starting from scratch. Okay, it could be that you actually want to take this one out of a project you've already done, and you would just take out the title. And you have the option, if you already got it in place, you can edit the place, okay, and it'll take you somewhere else, and you can say replace and on the top left-hand side, and you've now replaced that particular project, okay? And you click the back arrow on the very top left, and it takes you back to where you want to go. So, but you can also start a project from there, okay? And so if you click on it now, it's taking you to a slightly different location that we had in the waterfront, okay? That's all it is. So this is where you would start to develop your project, is here where it says on the picture, add to the project, okay? And if you want more information about this location, you would then click more information. And it would now bring up any information, like you were saying earlier, where do I go to? And here it gives you more information. Just by clicking on it, now you can see that there's a view still from the Cape Town waterfront towards Table Mountain. And on the right-hand side, there is a next. You can click on the next. That's taking you now around the waterfront and the edges where there are people living. And so here you'll be able to, find out more information about this specific location by clicking on the right-hand side of it, okay? So I just click the back arrow at the top left-hand side, and we got out of that information. All right, so now let's look at some more functionality. You see down the bottom right-hand side, you've got 2D and you've got 3D, okay? And then above that, you've got a little man, okay? So you can take that, hold your left key over the little man, and you can put him onto a road, and then let go your left key, and now we are walking the streets of the waterfront, okay? So that little man is the secret to getting down and having a look around the waterfront. These arrows, you can click on them and they'll slowly take you forward along the walk, okay? Yeah, otherwise you can fiddle again with your left key and you can move. Let's say you want to see what's on the left side. You hold your left key down and you just move, okay? Now you're seeing a 90-degree angle to what you were seeing, okay? And so you see lines here, but you're at street level now. Now you can do a 360 turn around, look around where you are standing at, and you can now make a decision. This looks like a really interesting place to visit when I'm in Cape Town. So maybe you make this your project, the V&A waterfront, okay? As the start of your project, okay? And So just move around and you can see their small boats and lots of tour boats. You can go on tour, and you know, if you went closer over to that side, you would see that you have got a shopping center that you know is typical of everywhere you go in Cape Town. There are shopping centers, okay, and but there are lots of tourist attractions. So if you now want to take a flyover again, you just go to the little man from the street level and you click on him again, and now you're taking a flyover. And you can click on the 3D and it becomes, you can now do the flyover with the three-dimensional, see the buildings, see the ratio, the size of the place, and so on, okay. All right, any questions about that function that you will use a lot, and that's a little man, okay, to get the street view. We can do it again. We can again put him somewhere else. Let's put him, let's say, maybe outside there on the corner, and then that's where you are, okay? So you can now search any city in the world at street level and have a look at it. And it, as I said at the beginning, it may be a little out of date, but certainly it will give you the information you want to make a decision to whether arrive and be part of that process. Okay. All right. Any questions about that? All right. So now we're looking at the project. We've gone to the waterfront. We now want to see Table Mountain, and we see it in the background there, you know, but how do we get up there, and what's up there when we get up there? Okay, so we click Table Mountain, or we just type in search Table Mountain, okay, and now we are circling above the cable car and Table Mountain. We're doing as you always do in your search, it does a flyover to show you what there is, and at any point you can just click it and it stops, okay. Now we do the little wheel on our mouse and we come in closer, where maybe we pull things a little bit to the right, so you can see on the left here the fall, the drop, and then there's a restaurant at the top there, and the top of Table Mountain, and there's the cable car, okay, that now goes down to the lower levels. But now what becomes interesting is that you can get, remember, the more info, I'm not going to click again on it, and get different pictures from different angles from Table Mountain. But let's have a look at what our little man is going to do by, if we hold him down and let's put him somewhere at a vantage point, let's say over there, okay? So we put him at a tourist view spot, and there he is, and we hold the left key down and we move around, and that's what you can see from this angle on the top of Table Mountain. So that becomes handy too if you go into ski slopes or wherever you want, and you want to see what is the view like from the top. You can get to the top and do it. And of course you can do a 360 and see, whoops, we're up against the wall of the cable car room, okay, so that's not going to show too much. And then you can see the waterfront down the bottom where we were at earlier. Okay, so we click again, the little man. We're not going to walk around the top of Table Mountain, but we want to now get to, let's say, the other attraction is Lion's Head, which is next to Table Mountain. And there is the Lion's Head. And again, remember, you can add these to your project. Start a new, just by clicking on Add to Project, you can actually start a new project as well at a point and take out them. All right. Again, you could change to 3D and move. Whenever you're holding the man down, it shows all the roads, because you basically have got to put the man on a road, and we can also put him on a path on top of Lion's Head as well. And so you now get to see Table Mountain over there, okay, because you're now on the top of Lion's Head with the view of Cape Town below.
Michael?
Yes.
Next to the little yellow man there, there's a kind of a round circle.
Yes.
Down the bottom right. What is that round? Did you talk about that, or what is that?
No, let's click on it and let's see. Okay. And we click on it. Okay.
Takes you where you live, eh?
Yes, it takes you to your home. You're quite right. Okay. So if you put it in there, that's what it does. All right. And yeah, I have a lovely forest next to me, lots of parks, and very attractive. So, but thanks for asking the question. Okay. The other down here, it just shows you by clicking it, you know, it's facing now due north. But if you were, let's say, let's see if we can do a different view at the moment. No, okay, I can't change the view at the moment. All right, so let's go back to Cape Town, and a long way from Australia, and we click on another project that you might want to see when you go to Cape Town on tour, on holiday, and it brings you to what is called the 12 Apostles. They are a mountain range behind Table Mountain, okay? And a lot of hiking, a lot of those sort of activities, and you can look at it. And again, you can bring, I'm not going to, but you can bring the person, the little man, around and have a look from the top, and the beautiful valleys and gardens in between the mountains there as well. Very attractive tour. And one of the gardens I've created that it's worthwhile visiting, and you would now click on the project of the garden, and that's Kirstenbush Gardens. And you could get down and walk. When these photos were taken by Google, there weren't a lot of flowers around. It's just the way it is. And so sometimes you might just be lucky if you take the little man and bring him, you know, onto one of the paths. And you get down to street level, and you can now walk along the paths in the Kirstenbosch Gardens and see if nothing glorious shining out of them the time that they took these photos. Remember, Google actually traveled the earth on these paths, taking photographs around the world. Okay, they're not taken from space, not these street ones. These street ones are taken by Google, you know, with people actually photographing them. You can see the mountain, the one side of Table Mountain there. Okay. So we click the. All right. So you can now plan your holiday based on these things. Now, what I want to also show you, I'm not going to go to the wine cellar. I want to go to Cape Point. That was what I started off right at the beginning showing you, where there. Okay. Now, what you can do, let's just stop it. I'm going to just close this picture that's on the top right-hand side by clicking the thing. And then I want to just pull out. And you'll see now that I was trying to show you on the bottom next to the little man and so forth on the bottom right, you can see that north is in a strange situation. So if you click that, it will take your picture to north. Okay, so that helps with people who have a problem with, the directions that they're facing in. Do I turn left? Do I turn right? Do I turn north? Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to keep it there, and I want to show you that ruler on the left-hand side now. We can go further out, but let's just stop there, for example. So now we go to the extreme left bottom, that ruler I showed you, and we click on that ruler, okay, and we take our, you can see my cursor has turned to a plus sign, and you go to Cape Point and you just click on there. Okay, now not holding anything down on your mouse, you can now, let's say, go to chroma key there, and you click there. Okay, it was 26 kilometers to there, and now let's say you want to go to let's say that intersection over there, and so you click there. Okay, we now got 60 kilometers away, and we want to go up from there. We want to go to whoops, okay, mustn't hold it down. I was holding down there and moved everything. Let's say to the, what would be Belleville. Okay, so we want to get to Belleville, and now we want to just move across and say done. Okay, so we click done, and you can now see that it's 70 kilometers from Cape Town via Cormacky, via that intersection to Belleville. So you can measure distances between towns, and you can come right down again to like city level and measure distances from one side of the city to the other. Was I too quick, or can you understand that? Everybody okay with that? Any questions there?
Yeah, Michael, that didn't look right. I thought the distance was much bigger, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, those business, they're pretty accurate. Okay. So have you been to Cape Town, Carl?
No. I thought when you were going from the first, from Cape Point, I thought you hit 50 or 60 kilometers, and then you did another strand. That was another 50 or 60 kilometers, and another. So I thought it would be like a couple of 100 kilometers.
Oh, I see it from moving. Yeah, no, it adds them up, and yeah, it gives you. Let's just go down there. There's a drop-down menu there. You have it in meters, kilometers, nautical miles, inches, yards, and miles, and so on. So it's in kilometers at the moment. All right. So
Michael?
Yes. Okay. Who was first there? Kathy, I think. Let's see. Okay.
Yes, you had the line from Cape Point to something with a K. I can't read it. So that's not necessarily driving miles. It's just directly there, just to take a rough measurement.
Yeah, but you can get down and do it at street level. The closer you come, the more detail you're going to get. Okay. So as I say, you can do it inside a city as well. Okay, and then you can go along the streets, and you just click at each corner. Okay. And then you turn it. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Michael, check the chat. There is a question.
Yes. Sorry, who has a question, Nancy?
By Pat Galvin. So the distance is as the crow flies and not necessarily by the roads traveled.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thanks. I forgot to introduce Nancy. She's our TA assistant. My apologies, Nancy, for not welcoming you into the class.
It's okay.
Okay. And Nancy works for Get Set Up and is here to assist like she's doing now. So really appreciate that. So yeah, you can, if you were going, let's just try something else because it was both. Let's click on Cape Town City Center, okay, and stop it, okay, and we can go in a bit more. And then let's take the ruler and let's just take a random place to start. Let's click there, okay. And then we move along and to that corner, okay. And then we move along all the way to there, okay. And let's click that, okay. So you can see now from where we started off, we went to a corner, click, go down, is, even as I'm moving now, it's changed. It's about 1,192 meters from one place to the other, okay. So I think that probably answers some of your questions that you were looking at, okay. All right, so we go to done again, and we clear the done, and let's do that. All right, what I want to show you now, before we go and do a little sort of random search, so maybe just keep an address in your mind or write it down, because I'll ask you in a minute. I just want to now show you, I told you about these various aspects, and if we click on the map ones, okay, and we have various options that come up. We can just have absolutely blank, no icons, no names, no labels, nothing, okay. We can go to exploration, where you can see now the names are coming up, like District Museum and Magistrates Court and so forth. And then you can click on everything, and then you see it becomes quite busy with information above Cape Town City, okay, and a lot of places. Otherwise, you can choose your own look and feel down the bottom here, by which of those things you actually want that you see on the screen right now. I mean, it's even showing us the route numbers, the road numbers, and things like that. But it's better, as I said to you at the beginning, to go on to Google Maps themselves, because they have a lot of functionality, and we're going to have a quick look just in a moment, okay. So if we go now to I'm feeling lucky, and we press on I'm feeling lucky, and you'll just go where it takes you. Homes, okay. Any of you know where that is? Okay, so perhaps we weren't that lucky. But you can do the same functionalities. You can go in and explore what that particular town is out of fun and for general knowledge, definitely. Okay, and you know, the Voyager that I'm going to click on now, it's again just taking you various places here, and you can click on the right hand arrow, and you know, time lapses in Google. In some places you can see what a place looked like. Let's say your old house, maybe if they happen to have passed there twice, maybe 20 years ago, and again recently, you can see what it looked like. at that time and how it changed, particularly monuments. You know, if you go to Paris and look at some of the buildings that were there, or churches that are now not there anymore, and you can see that. So this is Voyager. You can now take a whole trip and move forward and click on any of these and you know, be taken to that particular place that it is under Voyager. Okay. And so there are all the project that Google has. You can see the little red ones. You can now decide, well, you know, let's go to that one, or that one. So that's Voyager. But what I want to bring you to now, let's just click that, going back. Okay, and Voyager going back. Okay. The really interesting thing is the search. All right. So do any of you want to give me an address, let's say, and we see where we go? You're scared of making your address public. I don't blame you. Okay. Let's do you want to, let's just make up an address. Okay, let's say 15, and I'm sure there are lots of streets. I'm just guessing at them because I like to just do things randomly. There we are. So let's click on the top one, and you see the picture coming up on the right hand side, and now Google Earth goes to 15 Rome Street. Okay, so somebody lives at 15 Rome Street. Let's just stop them. The Marikina River, and of course we can now get in a lot closer if we wanted. Let's, for argument's sake, do the 3D, hold the man down, and let's see outside the house. There you go. There come the streets up in blue, and we put him outside the house, and that's what we selected. Okay, and so if that were your house, that's how clear it would be. Okay, if that were your address, and we've got two open spaces on either side, and we can see what the neighbors are like. Okay, so that becomes, you know, really interesting that you can get to the street level and see. So all right, so we get into
what are you doing again to move around on the street level? Is that a left click?
You hold your left button of your mouse, and you can go this way, that way. Okay.
Okay.
And you can also click on these little icons here, and that takes you sort of probably 50 meters down the road. So, you know, you can just keep clicking them, and then it takes you to, you know, down the bottom. Okay.
Thank you.
Pleasure. All right. Are there any other questions that, because I've gone through what I want to show you, and you know, one thing you see in the bottom right-hand corner, right down there, that Earth, you know, if you click on that, okay, then you back to outer space. Okay, and you can you can spin it by, again, holding your thing down. You can, so not much to see from this height. Okay, but that's what that gets you back there, and you can click the plus sign, and wherever it's stationary, the plus sign next to down the bottom there, you can just, you know, keep on clicking the plus sign, and it's just taking you straight in where it happened to be looking at from outer space. Okay, so yeah, and it does take time when you like now. It's taking time to focus and drill in. So you need to be patient as well, because not everything is going to come up instantaneously. A lot depends on your internet connectivity when you deal with things from outer space zooming down, as opposed to being at street level. Those are photographs, and that's not so bad. What I want to show you lastly is the actual Google Maps. You are all familiar with the Google Maps, okay? You've got this on your phone. You want to get to somewhere in your city, you go and use one of, there are lots of different map facilities, but the Google one, Google Maps, is always up to date, and here, you know, it doesn't matter. You've got just about the same functionality. I'm now using my little arrow, my little roller, and it's bringing it, you know, closer and closer to where you want it. I'm just pulling it along. So Google Maps, as you come in closer, you're getting more and more detail coming up, and it's definitely, when you're there, it's definitely use Google Maps as you do in your own home city right now. Okay, and then when you're there, it offers, you see on the left here, I'm sure you're all aware of this, but there are various options of quick facts and things that you might want to know about tourist attractions, and there they are. Okay, they're sitting here, and you can go to just click in these icons. You'll see different tourist attractions, and you see prices of hotels in your city on the Google Maps, and you can view more hotels, some of the local areas around here. So Google Maps has almost the same functionality as Google Earth, but a lot more. Okay, and so you can, you know, if you want to talk about going from maybe you know, one location like Cape Town through around to St. Lowry's Pass, which is a mountain range here, and you know, you can come and see here, and again, you can get usually a voice to tell you where to turn, and which you won't get on Google. So Google Maps is really the place. You keep going out. You could be looking at touring the whole of the southern area of the African continent. You'll then see the towns, and you could now jump from town to town. But Google Maps, you know, you'll need Google Earth if you wanted to get the distances, for example. Otherwise, you just ask Siri, and Siri will tell you. Okay.
Michael? So
yes.
Basically, if you went to Venice, okay, and spent some time in Venice, and then you wanted to show all your friends a tour of Venice, you could do the whole tour here with Google Maps with your group.
Yes.
You go to Venice, you know Venice well enough now to give them a tour. You could tour all around Venice and show that to your group.
Yes, I mean, if you let's just click here. Let's go to.
I mean, that's amazing. That is amazing.
It is a lot of fun. Okay, it really is. Okay, maybe we've got to say Venice City then, because it's giving us all the names of everything that's Venice. Okay.
No, I just meant that's amazing. Okay. You want to show somebody your neighborhood.
Oh,
and
yes.
If you want to go to Venice, it's Venice.
Oh, of course, man. Hey, thank you. Spelling was never my greatest.
So you're not a writer. You're not a writer. You're not a writer, Michael.
I actually am, but I use Grammarly. What's it? Is it CE there? I can't. V, is that right? Yeah. Got it. Okay. But yeah, you can show people your backyard and show people your town and so on. Now you can use the functionalities that I showed you. You can come in wherever you particularly want to come in, and you can, and then you can definitely, it's at this, even from this high level, let's bring the little man down. I haven't been to Venice, so I'm not sure where would be a good place to drop the little man. I can't see too much, but let's have a look. Okay, well, wherever we are, there we are. Right. I would imagine from my general knowledge that that is typically Venice. Okay. Have any of you been to Venice? Carl, you have. Nancy, you have too. Okay. We can do yeah, let's just click on the little man.
It's flooded now. I don't know if you want to go.
Okay. All right. All right. Don't worry then. All right. So, you can find the place that you want and maybe go out a bit further, and then, put your little man in that particular aspect. Okay. You see some of those names there. Have you been to any of these places that you see on the map at the moment in Venice?
Yes, I recognize some of the names.
Okay. Do you want to give us one and we'll put the little man there and see if it was what you remember?
No, I just remember some of the names, but it doesn't matter. I just thought it was amazing that you could go to your backyard and your neighborhood and show people where you live and beautiful things around your neighborhood. I never thought of that. That's why I was just amazed.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, that's probably a good place to stop. And thank you for being part of this. It's been great. Okay. And have a good evening.
So much.
Thank you, Michael.
Pleasure. Okay.
This was absolutely wonderful.
Really great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye,
Okay. Thanks. See you in another